Hey everyone, my name's Emma Bell, and me and my family have been a part of Good Life for a long time. So I have my husband Lee, and we have 4 children. They're mostly adults now. We have Caitlin, who's married to Bailey, and Ezekiel and Isaac, who's our youngest now. But we also have a daughter in heaven, and her name's Naomi. Back in 2006, I realised that I was pregnant, and it was a bit of a surprise. Wasn't particularly keen on having 4 children. It was a shock. Our kids' names have always been really special to us. We've always really prayed about it and sought God on it, and we hadn't had a scan. We didn't know if it was a boy or a girl. We hadn't talked about names or anything yet. So we were in church one Sunday morning, and they were praying for a girl called Naomi. And just that thought ran through my head, oh, that's what we're meant to call the baby. And I kind of forgot about it, busy. And that night, Lee was doing something, and he turned to me and he said, oh, I heard a name today, and I think that's what we're meant to call the baby. And I said to him, was it in church when they were praying for that girl, Naomi? And he's like, yeah, how did you know? I said, quick, look it up. What does it mean? And he said, it means pleasant and delightful. And I was like, awesome. Literally a couple of days later, we go for a scan. Surprise, it's a baby girl. So we're having this baby girl, Naomi. She was born in 22nd of September that year. All looked good, She did have some colic, and we found out she had silent reflux, and she had a bit of a turned eye, but minor things. And then just before her first birthday, our GP said, oh, there's a bit of a murmur I hear, especially if she's not well. Probably should get it checked out just in case. So off we go to a specialist cardiologist, and he was asking us some interesting questions around, her, what she looks like, what the other kids look like and stuff, and then at the end of our time with him, he says to us, I found some just really slight narrowings in her arteries, and she's got a tiny little hole in her heart that might be nothing, and those things aren't really serious, but they do point to something else, and I think Naomi might have something called Williams syndrome. We looked, and the first thing that they tell you about Williams syndrome is that these kids are pleasant and delightful. It's one thing to say that she loved people, but she really loved people above and beyond anything else. I will never forget going grocery shopping with her, and she often would wave at people. She loved to be in the arms of other people, especially if you had blinkily jewelry on, she loved a bit of sparkle. She would just snuggle into people, and she loved to be with them. There's a few little facial features and stuff that, and odd teeth and things like that, we're kind of like, okay, tick, 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 that's our girl. And so it was really bittersweet towards knowing, she had a label, she had, this thing that was wrong with her, but, we felt really blessed that her heart conditions were only mild, and, she was just so amazing. And about a year later, we go for a checkup. It's, supposed to be no big deal, but we could sense that it was taking a little while. And at the end of it, he said to us, the narrowings in her arteries were building up pressure in her heart, and it was actually pretty serious. There have been cases of kids that have had tantrums, or something happened, and it is possible to have sudden heart failure, or she could live for another 10 years maybe, but that it was definitely what they call life limiting. So that was really hard. It was really hard Like, how do you have a 2-year-old and worry about every tantrum? How do you look after your other kids? How do you do that? We still had that basis of knowing that God had named her and that He was part of this. And I think at that point I kind of really connected too with the story of Mary, of just knowing that here was this young girl, and at first glance I kind of grew up with that story of thinking, oh, lucky Mary, she got to be the mum of Jesus, or good. And it was only like as an adult that you kind of look into the story and realise she was an unwed mother. Like, the angel appeared to her, but she had to face that stigma, and I can only begin to imagine how hard that would have been for her. And so there's that real combination of joy and sorrow, and they're not mutually exclusive, that they can be together through life. I find it really reassuring, because it's easy to look at those kind of sad circumstances and wonder, does God love me? Like, is this punishment? Have I done something wrong? But when I look at the story of Mary and other people in the Bible, I realise, like, God does not make this easy path for us, and sometimes we have to walk through difficult journeys, but to know that God is with us, and even better, that He comes along and gives us encouragement right at the start of the journey, that He gives us a foundation, it was just really special, and really kept me going. We had a couple of years with Gnomes. For the most part, she was pretty normal and pretty good, but when she got sick, she would get super sick, super fast. And about 10 years ago now, 2011, she did get sick, and soon after we started to notice that she was really unwell, and she did go into heart failure. So March 2011, she passed away in our arms. She went to be with Jesus, and I know that's where she is. And we still continue to, I suppose, hold tight to Jesus, and He's been so faithful. He really has.